Good morning.
Hello. We're on time for us. So
We are. So nobody complain because we're right where we want to be.
That's right. That's right. We've got like a 4-minute window.
That's right.
I just made that up. Hello, everybody. Hello, Satsuko. We just saw Satsuko a couple nights ago.
Yeah. What was your Thanksgiving? Nice?
This is the first time in like 10, 11 years, I think, that I didn't have to cook anything. It was nice.
Oh, very nice. Yep. And we had a good day, so that was good.
But we got Brooke everywhere. She says, "Woo Woo Wednesday." It is. So hopefully everybody had a good Thanksgiving. Well, hello, Danielle. She's like, I missed the last few shows, but working from home today. So you get to catch us live, all of the shenanigans live. And I do believe when I was starting to read through some of our comments, a few people have already, here we go, Brooke. Yep, listen to the podcast. And Debbie says, good to know there's eye candy on the other side too.
Well, if they look that way when they were alive, they're going to look that way when they're dead. Maybe there's a bunch of magic mics over there. You never know.
Poor Ted. Ted's going to have a run for his money.
Yeah, I'm in the office. He can't hear me.
Well, Ted wasn't bad looking in his younger. Well, I mean, he's not bad looking.
No, not at all. No, he was, then life happens.
Doesn't it? Let's see. Oh, and hello from Twitch, Brooke on Twitch. She's on all the things. So she is one of my best pimp masters out there on the other side for me of all the things, pimping everywhere. And Nancy said, did anybody listen to the podcast? How do earthbounds do this? They think of a location and suddenly they're there. If I so may hang out after I die, I always wanted to visit Egypt.
Well, actually, you could, but think about this, Nancy. You can go visit it after you go into the light, too. So you'd be better off visiting after you go to the light so that you don't cause problems for anybody.
And you can get into all those secret chambers that they don't let the live people in.
That's right. You could snoop all over the place.
That's right. All right. So I see Rosie say, great question, Lewis. And I'm like, is Lewison commenting and I don't see it? Or is it because this morning's podcast was based for him?
I think that's what she has to be referring to because he wasn't on last Wednesday either.
He wasn't. He's been MIA a little bit. I think school's keeping him very busy over there in England. Brooke says live shenanigans are the best shenanigans, especially if we can embarrass Marianne while we do it.
Oh, yeah. That's always a good thing to do.
Angela says, I look forward to the podcast. It's too early. Yeah. So if you're 2-3 hours, it's like 2:00 in the morning for you when it.
But luckily, it's taped, so you can always go back and catch it.
Oh, Gina wants to know, do you ladies know anything about black-eyed children? Have you ran across them?
I don't know. I mean, I know that came out after that stupid movie came out about the children of the damned or something with the black eyes, but I really don't know anything about that.
I mean, I know some of the folklore. These children come up and they're always young and they look very helpless, dirty, unkempt. They need assistance, but it's like once you let them into the house, then all sorts of bad things happen. That they'll come up to the door and knock and.
So in other words, an adult answers the door and there's a little child there and you invite them in?
Mm-hmm. Because
not in today's world.
They've got the sob story, somebody's hurt or they need help.
Sit on the step, honey. Let me go get my phone. We'll go call somebody. No, in the house, never.
Yeah. Today's like teachers get in trouble just for hugging a kid anymore.
That's right. It's terrible.
Yeah. Scott, help, I needed it all. I left him unsupervised. I had to come here and get my power cord. Um, oh, hey, Lachelle. She called me while I was driving. She's like, "Are you busy?" I'm like, "Kinda." I'm
Yeah,
breaking
right.
the speed
It is
limit law.
Wednesday morning, right?
I left my power cord at home, and we are not going to make it today on 30%. Let's see. So, Marianne, you met Slade twice coming out of that portal, and it
Met
sounds
him.
like he's waiting for you.
He was pretty surprised that it took that long. And I don't know if it took him that long to find a house that I would come to. I don't know. I started laughing. I said, well, if you're going, I actually said, which I didn't put in the podcast. I told him, I says, well, if you could, seeing that you're going in all these houses, I'd give you a stack of business cards, but that won't work. So
Right. I mean, I always wondered, and we'll have to add this to the list of questions to ask the next portal ghosts. Like, are there maps like you are here, and then there's maps of all the portal outlets, and like this one is,
I don't know.
Cusco, this one is Cleveland, this one is North Ridgeville, 55th Street, like
I do know this, that the one thing definitely is different is that they can hang out together in the portal,
the portal.
which that doesn't happen out of the portal.
I have to wonder then, like,
Maybe their energy is just so bad it doesn't make any difference.
I wonder, um, or if there's some sort of energy part to those portals that make it where it keeps them charged.
Well, think of, seeing that it's negative energy to blow it open, it would have to be like people or like earthbounds that would be attracted to that. And that's not your everyday, run of the mill person that we see in the grocery stores. That's for sure.
Hmm.
Of course, unless you're in Walmart and somebody's there with a gun, you never know.
Well, if you ever run it, what was his name? Clarence?
Yeah.
Maybe he'd answer. Maybe not, since, his saluting parting wave.
Yeah, he wasn't real happy. Not happy at all. But that was his choice. So
That's well, and too bad, Slade crossed over. This is the one time where he was very talkative and seemed helpful. We could have asked him maybe.
a lot of questions. Yeah. Yeah. But the one good thing is that I don't have to talk out loud to ask him a question. Because if I had to, I'd feel really uneasy asking questions if the homeowner standing there could hear it. I think, sometimes the conversation is just better between me and whoever I'm talking to.
Right. Well, especially depending on what might be coming out of that earthbound's mouth, per se. Like, the live person may not need to hear
Right.
some of that. Like, there was a questionable instance on Zoom, which had like myself and a couple other people looking up a sex offender where one of these clients lived. And I could tell you were really on the fence about whether or not you were going to say anything out loud.
I didn't know what to do. I really didn't. But the idea, and here's the thing. Now, keep in mind when I'm talking to somebody on Zoom, even though they're sitting in one room, I got a pretty good look at the whole house.
Right.
All the rooms and everything, so I could tell if anybody else is in the house. And the energy on this pervert was so bad, and I'm thinking, oh my gosh, she's got a one that's preschool and she's pregnant, and another one's coming, and this guy was just a creep. He truly was. And it's like, you got to give somebody a heads up. I didn't know, but you never know how people are going to take it. Seriously, a friend that was on Zoom called me the next day, and she said, boy, that person took that news really well. She says, I would have been like a screaming Mimi trying to figure out who it is and go kill him if he was after my kids. She says, but she said, even other people that she knew on Zoom took it really well. And I said, yeah, they were pretty, they were, they were okay with it. So,
I think you get 2 or 3 types of moms. The good moms that are willing to do something, not we're gonna take out the ones that don't really care. Because unfortunately, there's always those type of parents that don't care. You're gonna have your overly, this sounds,
helicopter moms that don't leave the kids ever alone.
yeah, and the ones that you're gonna see them coming. I would be that type. I'm gonna gather all that information, and I'm gonna come up behind you in the dark and take you out.
Yeah. I
You're
mean,
not gonna know that I'm
my
coming
kids.
for you.
Just don't mess with kids. That's disgusting. Disgusting. And it's funny. Some towns now, that woman was definitely out of state, and that's why I didn't know if there was even a sex offenders registry in her state. I know Ohio has one, but I didn't know if any other states do or not.
I think they all do for federal or something, or at least the government will break it down by state. I
Okay.
think, because I know, like in other states that I lived in, there has been.
Okay.
So, um,
And that's it. And when this woman that where this happened in another house, the woman called her local police department and they had absolutely no problem going and getting the guy.
okay,
So I don't know what her state will do and how she, I mean, this woman in our state, Ohio, was pretty good about it. She sort of embellished and said she saw this car and this color driving up and down the street slow when the kids were out. She didn't say, some wackadoo told me about this because she could see dead people. So, so she
right.
sort of worked it in. It's like when I tell you guys, have an ordained priest or minister come out and bless the house. 99% of you can say since you moved in your house that you never had, either because you don't care, you're not religious, or it doesn't mean anything to you. But most people do not have an ordained priest or minister come in your house and bless your house when you first move in. That used
Mhm.
to be a thing to do. That went by the wayside a long time ago. But
Right,
priests still honor that. And so when you call and say, I've lived here for 10 years, and I've never had the house blessed, can you come out and bless it? Don't say I've lived here for 10 years and now I have ghosts. Will you come and clear my house? That's not
right.
the way to do it. You're not lying, you're just omitting. So just play with the words.
Just yeah.
Yeah, just sort of, yeah, okay.
And anticipate what their reaction's gonna be, and work around that. And
Right, 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 right.
um, yeah, Joe says New Jersey has the offenders list, and we put up the link. Thank you to Rebecca. We'll put it up again in case anybody wants to
Yeah.
know.
Oh gosh, there's all kinds, huh?
Yeah.
Well, I'm
So,
glad to see that though. I really am.
and just from experience in the places that I've lived, there's always one person who seems to be regularly checking those lists for their local community. Um, and they're the first ones to put up in on Facebook community chat boards and everything, like, did you see who just moved in?
Oh,
So
really? I've never paid. Well, I don't. If
yeah.
I don't get on the computer, I wouldn't know that. But I never paid any attention.
I mean, even in that little bitty town that I used to live in before I moved, I hadn't noticed that somebody had moved, but then again, I was working like 10, 12 hours a day. So left when it was dark and came home when it was dark. And apparently somebody new had moved in, and there's like a Facebook group for that little town. And a lot of towns will have you're from blank if is the name of a lot of them. You're from Oberlin if, you're from Kipton if, you're from
Oh,
Cleveland if.
okay.
And they posted that up in there, the address of the house and the picture of the outside of the house, which I don't know how legal that part is, but And then like all of the offender info, like when they were arrested, what for, how long, blah, 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 blah. It was like, here's who our new neighbor is. And I'm like, oh, good Lord.
Oh, I thought you had to pay to go to sites like that.
No,
Oh,
not for these type of registered offenders. You know, it's
okay.
right there. Just like they have to register whenever they move in, or like if they move, they have to go to like the local police department or something. Somehow they have to notify where they're at all times. Um, so there we go. Let's see. Oh, there we go. Yeah, Renee. She said when a registered sex offender moves into a neighborhood in Minnesota, all of the neighbors are notified.
Oh gosh.
So,
Well, she's been there since September, so apparently she wasn't notified. And
and
this, and
he may not be living. I wonder if he's working, or he may not be living in that exact neighborhood. He could be trolling, or who knows.
yeah. In all honesty, why would you do something bad where you live?
Right.
Yeah.
Well, and that, I mean, all of us true crime fans know they start triangulating where bodies are found, incidences are found, and they start looking and they're like, oh, they're all within X amount of miles. And that's the hardest ones to catch usually are the truckers, because it's nowhere near home and they're doing it while they're on the road. And,
Right, right,
you
right,
know,
right. That new show with Donnie,
oh, Donnie Wahlberg,
yeah, Scary
New Kids on the
People or
Block.
something. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
I
those
try to
good.
watch some of that one. It's a little slow moving for me.
Well, we figured it out. It's two parts. You don't really have to watch the first part. The second part, you can get all the information, and it doesn't take forever.
I binge watched the other day that I lived with the serial killer, mainly because the last episode of the second season had to do with Anthony Sowell, and you know he was the Cleveland guy,
Right.
and they were done really well. It kind of focused around the family members who had no idea, and some of them, like later, like Anthony's sister, and I feel so bad for her. Um, you know, she's like, I had this loving little brother who was into sports, who, you know, he goes into the Marines, he comes home from the Marines, and now he's changed and quick to snap, she goes, but I never put that together with what was going on here, because that's not the little brother I grew up with. And she had to move because people were coming after her, blaming her that she allowed him to do this.
How silly are people?
Yeah.
Seriously. If they're not in cahoots with you, why would they have anything to do with it? That's terrible.
Right.
Yeah.
So, and I remember though in the news, like that sausage factory that was right next to his house on the corner, like they kept getting fined and inspected, and just their business really struggling because of all of these inspections. The stench coming from his house with all of those 11 dead bodies in it, in the property, everybody was like, oh, that sausage factory, like they're not on the up and up, they've got bad meat, they're selling bad meat, and they kept getting inspected and fined. And I'm like, I wonder if they ever were able to like go after the city and be like, give me my money back that you fined me for,
That's a,
you know.
that's a good thought. I wonder. Well, if it was my factory, I would.
Right.
Yeah, definitely.
So just little curious things I think about watching these
Right, right,
shows.
right,
Like,
right.
yeah. Um, let's see. Sink says, ladies, how do you respond to people who believe that God won't allow earthbounds in their house? My mother-in-law knows there is one in her house, but thinks praying will take care of it.
There's a lot of people like that think that this is definitely anything that we do that's metaphysical is related to the devil. And, like I said, people like your mother, if seriously, if you call Cleveland Catholic Charity or Cleveland Catholic Diocese and tell them I have a ghost in my house, what should I do? They give you my name and phone number. So, you got to remember something that the church changes. Remember, you couldn't have anything to eat or drink before you went to communion. That changed. You be at McDonald's, walk across the street, and they give you communion. Now you can be buried in a cemetery, a Catholic cemetery, if you committed suicide. The Bible and the churches change with generations, I think. Try to
Mhm.
make it easier for us to come and pray, I guess. But you know what? There's nothing I can say. I can't. That's their choice. I what are you
Yeah,
gonna do?
everything's the work of the devil.
Yeah.
Which I always like. I'm like, well, if God's in charge of everything and did everything, then God allowed this to happen.
Well,
So
that's pushing the envelope, but okay.
why did God allow that sickness to happen in the first place?
Yeah, yeah, right. Well, it's
You did
called
not hit like on that Facebook post. That's why.
yeah, 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 yeah. And it's called free will, folks. Free will.
Let's see. Evangelist says, what do you think of the people who sell items online with an attachment? People actually will pay for it. Have you seen this
I don't
man?
know what she's talking about.
So I think eBay put a stop to it a few years ago. Other places you might still be able to find it, but I've got a haunted phone. There's a demon attached to it. I'm looking to sell it. $500. And
What?
people will buy the stuff. Yeah. Yeah. But it's usually
That
not.
wouldn't even work. I mean, why would a ghost follow something through the mail someplace?
It's dolls, cabinets, antiques. It's those type of things that are usually being sold. The boxes, the Jewish dubiak or dubik, however you say a box is, that something's been trapped inside. Um, so yeah, I think eBay, pretty sure they did a few years ago, put a stop to that. But there's other places online you can go and buy all these
Well, I'm
haunted
sorry.
objects.
Anybody that believes that, I'm sorry, they deserve to be taken because that is just plain silly. That's ridiculous. I mean, I mean, you can walk into an antique store yourself or a secondhand store. Hell, on garbage night, pick something off the curb that could have something attached to it. But to
Mhm.
pay for it in the mail? Oh golly. Maybe, oh no, I don't know. Oh yeah, no, I'm not even gonna go there. I have no idea.
Right. We should do a little stream. We should go to like a thrift store or a flea market and be
Oh,
like,
flea markets are
haunted,
full too.
haunted, not haunted, not haunted, not haunted.
Yeah, no.
Just so,
Think about it. When I had the workshop, we would go out weeks in advance, Ted and I, and go to all these places and buy things that had curses on them and bring them home, just so it could be show and tell at the workshop. But yeah, no. Yeah, you can do, I mean, I've done a number of spots for TV in antique stores.
hmm I think there was
So
a video of one on your website for a while. I don't know if it's
there
still
should be. I don't know if it's still there or not, but yeah.
Karen's
Uh,
like, okay, cool. I got 10 phones I want to sell. She's
yeah,
like,
exactly. That's exactly right. How silly is that?
can portals be created on a phone, laptop, or PC?
No, they cannot.
Nor do the ghosts follow through the TV to haunt you if you're watching a haunted show.
No, you cannot get a ghost if you're watching scary shows on TV. Absolutely not.
Danielle says, is the ritual of decorating a Christmas tree considered a positive witchcraft in a way? Our intention is to have a wonderful season. Just wondering the history behind it. Yes, it's kind of more in the heathen aspect of it, but it has to do with bringing in those nature spirits, bringing them in, honoring them. So it is a thing. So everybody's Christian Christmas tree is actually a pagan thing.
Well, like Halloween, and there's a lot of religions that don't believe in any of that. I
hmm
mean, there's still religions that you can't even dance. You're not allowed to dance, play cards, nothing. So,
Right.
and again, that's the religion they want to be. That's their choice. And
Mhm.
that's what people have to remember.
It is. And I still think like I don't use live trees because I can't justify for myself killing a live tree just to bring it in and then toss it out. Now there was a company, when I forget the name of them, because they're not local here, they were out west somewhere. But what they would do is you can rent or buy a live tree, but it comes with that root ball like
Yeah,
protected, and then when your season's over, you go plant it,
that's
or
what
they
we did
take
for
it
years. Right.
and they'll plant it. So I like that idea. But to go cut down a tree that is going to die eventually because it's away from, like, I can't justify killing the
Wait,
tree.
man. Yeah. No, what we did after the first year that we got one of those, you get the tree and it's in a big, I don't know if you remember those big baskets, like reed baskets. The big ball is in there and you let it sit outside and you wait and then you bring it in and you decorate it. And now it's 22 degrees below zero and you can't dig the hole to put the tree in.
Right.
So now we learned the next year we dug the hole in
Beforehand.
September and covered it over with the board. And so that we had a place to put the tree when we brought it. But just a heads up, it's the
Yeah.
bald ones because they have the ball and they're alive and you're going to replant them. Those are the ones that the wood sprites and the nature sprites get a little ticked off about. That's the one, that's where I ended up with them in the house one year with a bald Christmas tree.
Because you're planting it outside, or?
Well, they dug it up. It should have been left where it was.
Oh, geez.
Yeah. Now, why they don't bother people that have a cut down tree in their house, I don't know.
Yeah, you think they'd be more mad about
Angry with
that.
them. Right. But no, it was, and it's like, oh no, I'm done.
Right.
I can't deal with this again.
Yeah, I haven't had a live tree ever since I, moved and left home. I always have a fake one. Um, but even before I got to thinking about, like, you're killing the tree, blah blah blah, I always hated, my grandmother had one, and while it was beautiful and I loved going to grandma's house for the celebration, those little pine needles falling off, and I was always the one that would find them in bare or stocking feet and getting poked by these darn things. And I'm like, oh, these trees, like, get a fake one so you're not getting poked all the time.
Man, those things can hurt.
Let's see. A lot of people about, going ahead and getting the fake trees. Um, She Ready says, I bought all my childhood dolls from eBay, and now I heard Marianne speak about attachment. I'm afraid to open the boxes. Should I smudge them or pray over them before I bring them into my house?
Personally, anything that you get used from Salvation Army, kids' clothes, anything, I seriously would, two things, either have sea salt in your car and sprinkle it on anything before you put it in your vehicle. The other thing is bring them in and put them in the garage and smudge them before you bring them in. Smudge the box from eBay before you bring it in. Just so that if something is attached to it, they realize you're an active person that's not going to allow them in. If you just bring it in, they're going to think, oh, yeah, I like this place a whole lot. But if you smudge first, you'll make them think, and maybe they'll go back to where they originated from. So, but yeah, it is not, seriously, it's not so much ghosts attached to that stuff as the things being just have negative energy on them. I mean, if somebody's buying used weapons from the wars, from Korean War to World War One to Vietnam, and I've been in houses where people have collected these things. Yeah,
Mhm.
then you're going to probably get a ghost attached to one of those things.
I've heard of some of our men and women coming back from the more current wars over in the Middle East, and some of, not only just, the dead people from the opposite side that they're bringing home these collectibles, but sometimes the spirits of that land that have been angered with it, kind of coming back, causing some havoc. So, our men and women, like, get sent over, and what they're dealing with, not only the PTSD of being in war, but then sometimes the spiritual aspect that's invisible, that nobody, they just want to give them pills.
Right,
They
right.
come to therapy, and I'm like, they're not coming back to therapy because you brush them off.
That's right. And that's why VA hospitals are Not first class, all of them, that's for sure. I
When
believe.
it gets to the point where I can perceive them and see them walking, like, it's bad. Which is why I keep knocking on the door now and then. I'm like, will you let me come in and help? Will you let me come in and help? And they're like, you're too weird. But I'm like, you let them do Reiki. I'm not that far off from Reiki.
Yeah, right.
Can we come play? slowly trying to get in there. I'm like, I'm probably just going to have to volunteer to go play checkers, with some of these men and women, and then just be kind of doing the work while sitting
Around
there
it.
playing checkers, because they won't let me in otherwise.
No, I can't even go in with Ted when he goes.
They won't let you in. Okay.
Not after COVID. I was allowed to go in with him before COVID and wait in the waiting room while he saw whatever doctor he was seeing, but not anymore. Nope.
Oh, let's see. Well, and the big one in Cleveland is like a maze. You get lost walking around in there.
Oh, that place is, I don't have nice memories of that place.
Let's see. What time are we at? Because I know you've got a very full day. I don't want to go too long.
Right.
So, what stops an earthbound from jumping on an item in a store or manufacturing plant on new items and coming home with you?
Not a blessed thing. And that's why, they can come with anything. I mean, people were specifically asking for used things, but they can come home with anything. And I really think when you buy a car and it's deemed a lemon, there was a ghost hanging around that car when it was being built, or somebody that was working on that vehicle had something attached to them, or they were cursed. And so it just went right onto the vehicle, and that's why, you ended up with a lemon. But lemon, believe me, we already had a lemon that we had to go back.
She says, "Oh my God, thank you so much. I'm a super thrift shopper, and now I'm completely horrified."
Well, it's easy. Like I said, it's not hard to do. You just have a smudge stick in your garage, and or leave everything in the car and just open the trunk up and smudge the heck out of the car before you bring it in.
There you go.
Yeah, just don't make it hard. Make it, it's easy.
Melody says, if corporations are covered in negative energy, wouldn't their new products have negative energy attached to them too?
The negative energy on vehicles would be more of a touch thing, because the person is negative, and so they're touching, the wheel well or the tire or whatever. Corporations are a little bit different. Like when I took the curse off the Cleveland Indians, I needed the corporation papers for that. Now, that didn't mean that the individual players didn't have problems of their own. They're so superstitious to begin with anyway. But so there's two different ways to do that.
Let's see. I think you would have to almost worry more about a smaller local company. I mean, I've been in some mom and pop stores that make things, and like this one lady, she was making like cute little votive candles. They looked really cute, but as she was like packaging them in cellophane with like little ribbon or whatever, you came in and she was standing there doing that, and you're like, "Hi," and she's like, "Hi," and doing it, and then like after she would tie the bow, she'd like toss it.
Oh, see, you can't do
I'm
that.
going, well, that's
Yeah.
just
No, you
wonderful.
can't do that. When you make anything like that, it's got to be done with positive energy around you and good thoughts. And in all honesty, a person standing on an assembly line for 8 or 12 hours looking at the same piece of equipment, crabby. Why not?
Well, unless they're one of those maybe more on the autistic where they like the then they're in
Right.
heaven.
That's right. But that's
Oh.
far and few between.
Yeah, me after about the third one, I'm like, I'm done.
Yeah,
I quit.
right.
I'm done. I'm gonna go find something else to do with my life.
Right.
Let's see. Everybody's talking about their trees. Like Renee and Brooke all have fake trees that look real. So everybody compliments them on their real tree, and they're like,
There's so many that there are some beautiful ones out there now that you can buy that are fake. You would not know. And a lot of these are so nice because they come already with the lights on them. So that's good.
the one that I have for the store, which still has yet to be found. Um,
Did you find my box of books?
your box of books? Yes, I did.
Okay, Ted asked me that 3 weeks ago, and I forgot to right this minute. Sorry about that.
No,
But
no,
it just
no.
because the minute we get off, I'd forget again. Okay, you did find him. Okay.
Mhm. Um, so yeah, but that tree, the only thing I don't like about I like it, but I don't like it is that it's flocked.
Yeah.
So it's, looks like it's all snowy and pretty. It came in like the three sections. You just stack them, plug the lights in together, and you're done.
Nice.
Versus the old tree that I've had, probably it's older than my kid, so it's like at least 20 years old. Where you got to put each branch on and then fluff it out and then the next layer. And I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah. No, they've made life is easier in some ways, so that's good.
Let's see. Mary says, how do earthbounds that haunt a location typically spend their time? What do they do for hours and hours every day? Seem like hanging around the same house building all the time would be pretty boring.
And a lot of them don't. When you leave for work, if they don't go with you, then maybe they'll go see what the neighbor next door is doing or go to the closest mall and then they know what time you come home, so they'll be there to greet you. So, and
Mm.
again, they can do what they snoop around and look at things and you're right. Very, very few of them just stay in a house 24/7.
Well, Renee, and this is because you've always mentioned guys in the portal. Have you seen a little woman come out of a portal?
I can't believe you asked me that. I did a house on Saturday that had a woman that came out of the portal. She was put to death in 1935. Um, she had a nickname, and I can't remember it. Black Guy Borgia. And she's apparently the only, and now you're going to sneak and look on your phone. I could see it going already. I saw your arm go down. In 1935, she was electrocuted in, if I can remember, Sing Sing, New York. She was electrocuted in New York, and apparently at the time, and I don't know if this is stood or not, she's the only person that they strapped to an electric chair.
Ruth Snyder. Found her.
You found her that fast. Oh, yeah, I give up on you guys. But she's the only person that was totally out when they stuck her in the chair and started it. She never saw it coming. Arsenic killed a lot of people.
Let's see. Yeah, looks like it's Ruth Snyder. Looks like maybe she also went by Lorraine Snyder.
Oh, I don't know about that. She just told me what her name was. And she did. I don't know why that name doesn't say. No, that you got the wrong person. Her name was Mary Frances.
Mary.
Nope.
Okay.
Mary Frances. No. Because I remember it was 2 words. That's not her.
All right, let's see.
Mary Frances.
Well, Ruth Snyder was also electrocuted in Sing Sing in that time period. But here she goes.
That might have, no, her partner was Ada, ADA.
Mary Frances Cretan.
That's it. That's her.
Charged and acquitted with husband for murder of her younger brother by arsenic poison. Charged and acquitted of murder of mother-in-law by arsenic.
Keep going.
Med Everett and Ada Applegate, who moved in with them after Ada Applegate died a few months later from arsenic poison, was charged with her murder along with Everett Applegate. Gave the arsenic to Ada in milk.
No, and then they dawned on her that she had killed all those people, and she killed them all for money, insurance policies, because apparently I'm pretty sure that 1935 was in the Depression, and everybody needed money.
Died in electric chair in Sing Sing prison, July 16th, 1936.
Okay, 36, 35. And
So
was she
maybe
a
she was
practice?
35 if when she went in. I wonder if she killed. It says she had 2 children. Doesn't name them. I wonder if she killed them too.
She had a daughter. She only told me she had a daughter. The daughter's Ruth. The daughter's name was Ruth.
Well, maybe that's the other. No, it's not because she was.
No, 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 no. Yeah.
Um, yeah. Now, did she go into the light or did she jump back in the portal?
No, she wouldn't go to the light.
She did.
Nope.
Oh,
She said, nope, I'm not going to go to hell. And I'm thinking, okay, lady, whatever.
maybe this is your hell. This constant mental torment of what would happen to you. Maybe that's your hell.
Right.
Let's see. Yeah. Karen says Clarence and Mary Frances need a special kind of portal for them.
Yeah, right. Wouldn't that be cool if you could just shut every portal up so they would all be stuck down there?
Just kind of. Sorry, Ron was like, no relation, folks.
Yeah.
Let's see. What time are we at? Okay. I'm like paranoid that we're going to make you be late.
No, I'm watching.
Let's see. Heather asks, do earthbounds in public places like malls or grocery stores try to get the attention of the living? Or do they just kind of ignore us and get the energy and move on?
They don't really try to get your attention in a crowd like that because they got so much energy from the crowd. But they try more to get your attention when there's less people around. That's when they'll try to get your attention.
Let's see. Melody says, can never have the job of pressing the electric chair button for people on death row over and over and over again.
How do those people live with themselves? I wonder. And I know some states that do that, are hooded so nobody knows who they are, because the reputation, they know that's the killer there that kills people. So I don't know. It has to be a special person to do something like that.
I mean, part of me, I'm like, if it was somebody like Anthony Sowell or something, like, oh, I'd be first one in line pushing the button. But then when you hear of, like I was listening to a podcast of this gentleman in Tucson, I think his name was Anthony Berry. He's currently on death row. And he unfortunately had not the greatest counsel. And then there's evidence that the state had information, never submitted it, never turned it over. And so he's looking pretty darn innocent in this. But with some new legislation that came down, if you are found and convicted at the state level, like you cannot present new evidence to the federal, even though you're like, look, they withheld, there's all of this, the children were guided in their interrogation. And so they're going, yeah, no, state already condemned you. The federal will not take you on. The Supreme Court will not look at your case. So it's kind of that whole, where do you stand in politics? Like, do you think you should be able to pull out of the state and go to the federal and say the state's part of the problem because they did not turn over this evidence and like, look what happened. But he's currently sitting on death row for the death of his girlfriend's 4-year-old daughter, like 20 some odd years ago. But now there's all of this evidence where, it wasn't him. So I would have a hard time going, I'm not doing it. I am not.
I don't understand why both of them don't look at all the evidence and do what they have to do. To kill somebody that doesn't deserve it. See, that's so wrong.
Yeah. Let's see. Oh, Brooke said about all of those people, she's like, get them all stuck and flood the area with white light and make them cross over.
I wish.
That would be more my tactic rather than Marianne.
I am, yeah.
Surprised.
You're all leaving. The flood's coming.
Mm-hmm. Mariah says, just to confirm, ghosts don't hang around cemeteries.
That's right. They do not. They get no energy from anybody in the cemetery because, gee, they're all dead. So now sometimes when there is a burial going on, I will see spirits hanging around them. But when whoever they're hanging with leaves, they're going to leave too. Or when the person that the service is for goes into the light, some of these people have been waiting and it will go in with them. But just to have, no, no, I've said 1,000 times, cemeteries make your best neighbors.
Mm. Let's see. What if the cemetery is a popular tourist attraction? I'm thinking of like New Orleans.
Well, yes, and that's something different when they run things through there. So a group or whoever is ever running that walkthrough, they could have something attached to them. That's why I tell people when you go to, no, I've been to Arlington. I've never seen an earthbound spirit at Arlington ever. Mm-mm.
So it's probably just somebody following a live person on the tour then.
That's right. That's what I would think.
So let's see. She ready. She would like to know how portals are created.
Portals are an energy opening that is created by negative energy. So something really bad had to happen where two live people were fighting, or somebody was murdered, or very bitter divorce, or angry that the bank took your house. I mean, it has to be something you're really angry about. And negative energy, if you're that angry, will blow open a portal. Now, once that portal is open, people that are negative that live in or hang out in that portal can come through. The issue is, though, they can't stay any longer than a day and a half or 2 days, so they have to pop back in. That doesn't mean they can't come back at another time, or the minute they leave, somebody else doesn't come in. But so that's pretty much how a portal is done.
Mm-hmm.
And I've never gone into a house where there's been an earthbound. I remember this one house. Oh, I forgot about that. Huh. There was an earthbound spirit in the house, a really pretty young woman, about 30 years old. She had died of cancer, which usually people that have long lingering illnesses cross over they want to be done. But she had young children, so she stayed. She didn't go into the light. And she had died maybe 40 years prior to this. But remember, when you die and you don't cross over, you stay the same age. Now there was a real creepy guy there, also out of a portal. I had never seen anybody talk so fast to get that 30-year-old pretty ghost to come with him in the portal. And nobody has ever done that. That's the only house that ever happened in. And she pretty much told him to go back to hell. She said she wasn't going. She was going in the light because her kids were growing now, and she even had grandchildren, and she wouldn't go visit them because she didn't want to make them sick. So she wanted to go to the light, which was perfect. That just ticked him off all the more that she wouldn't come with him. He just thought he was a loaf of bread, no more. So it wasn't going to happen.
Wasn't slayed.
No, it was not. No, and you wouldn't, no, not even a second glance, believe me.
Well, like the gentleman from the ship sinking that was in the office, he was trying to talk the portal ghost into crossing overs.
Right. Yeah, but this guy had other intentions.
Right.
Yeah. And it's like, you're dead, bud. Give it up.
Yeah, you ain't getting nothing. Okay.
Right.
You. Let's see. Sandy said, my husband recently asked me if we're sure our seeds work. He kept getting tapped on the shoulder. I told him it's because he feeds the birds, so he's got fairies.
It could be that, or think about, did a family member or a friend, was this the anniversary of their death? Was it their birthday? Was it your husband's birthday? Is it somebody that crossed over that was coming to say hi?
Because his dad had passed within the last year, so
It could be his father then. And it would, a lot of people, I got a bunch of calls because stuff happened over Thanksgiving, but more than half of those calls were people from the light. Because it's a holiday. They're not going to miss it. They're going to show up. There's even some religion, or some nationality, and I don't remember which one. Maybe Ukrainian or Slovak. They set plates out for the relatives that died. If they come to visit, they can sit in those chairs. Hell, I never have enough room around my table to put empty plates, but it's there. People know they visit.
Yeah, and she said it was just over a year from the time his dad passed. So
I bet it was your dad. I bet it was your father-in-law, especially since it was just Thanksgiving. Just calling. I'm fine. How you doing? I'm here.
Tap, tap, tap.
Yep.
Let's see. So we're getting close to 11. So Marianne, you're going to be in store at Goddess Elite on the 17th.
I am.
From about 1 to 4.
Yep.
So if you are local and you need seeds, sea salt soap, charms, books signed, all the things, Marianne, I'm trying to picture your table, like all the things that are on your table.
It's long and great stocking stuffers. And look at all the stones you can put in the toes of stockings you can get from Melissa. So,
right. And I kind of surprised to sign you on the Zoom, but we'll tell everybody today. We also are going to have a bunch of local handcrafted vendors and artisans in that day over on the office side. So you can come shop local, help support local artists, and buy some really cool things. I'm hoping the one lady comes back. She crochets, and she made the cutest little things. And she made Baphomets like in rainbow colors. And I'm like, that's freaking adorable. I want one. So you should come on out. There's a lot of local stuff. So come see Marianne, get your book signed. Or if you've got a book lover in the family, get a book signed for them.
Right. And like the cookbook, a lot of people aren't cookers, but they like ghost stories. And a lot of people don't believe in ghosts, but they like cookbooks. The cookbook is great for either or, for a mother-in-law or a father-in-law. Just a great extra little something for them to open.
Well, I don't know if we've ever really answered this one. Why do so many mediums claim that earthbounds are stuck at a certain place, like in a house? Can they really be attached to a place? Makes for great TV airings.
It does. That's exactly right. And they're never stuck. The only ones that are truly stuck are the ones that come out of a portal, because they can't leave the four walls of the house. But any other spirit that is not out of a portal can leave anytime they want. And it's, oh, he died here, he was murdered here. That doesn't mean they stay there. Why would they stay in a house with strangers? If they didn't cross over, they're going to try to go with their own friends, or they're going to go bother who killed them. So no, that's not true. And I don't know why they say that. I don't know why they do that. Just like a lot of psychics or mediums or say it's somebody that you brought with you from a past life. Personally, I've never seen that either. But that doesn't mean it can't happen, I guess.
Let's see. Oh, yeah. Says we set a place setting in the Russian culture for our past loved ones, and my Ukrainian family does the same as well.
I thought it might have been Ukrainian too, but yeah, I know there's a number, not just one, but I know there's a number of them that do that, which is a really cool thing to do. I mean, the one has these little sterling silver frames that stand up by themselves. And there was a picture of her mom and a picture of her dad and a picture of her brother. She says, yeah, we put these on the plate, so they're sitting there. I'm thinking, Oh, okay, that's cute. Ooh.
Yeah. It's like sometimes it'll be referred to as like a dumb supper, where you sit in silence, and honoring them for a certain amount of time.
Seconds.
Some people do
Yeah.
it the whole time. Some only do
Right.
10 minutes.
Yeah. Think about them for 10 seconds or something. Right.
Um, let's see. But yeah, so you can come see Marianne on the 17th. The next Zoom is on the 9th. There was only like a handful of spaces left when we
Yeah,
checked
you
this
said
morning.
3. Yeah.
So
And
if you're,
that's the last one for the year on the 9th.
yeah,
Um, I may as well tell I'm crazy right now because we're moving. We're leaving Cuyahoga County and we're moving to Lake County. We're moving in June. I wish it was June. We're moving in January. So between Ted and everything else that's been going on, we bought a house. So I'm a little crazy right now, trying to pack. Of course, at least I don't have to put up a Christmas tree this year.
there you go. There you
Why
go.
would I do that? Right.
um, so we may or may not do some Zooms in June or June. Now you got me saying June, January.
I know. I know.
So just because Marianne's going to be crazy. So keep an eye out for that if you're thinking of joining. There were the 3 spaces left for December 9th. Don't count on January just because now. So
Like I said, we're trying our best. This is how I'm being I'm watching what I'm doing because when the mover was here yesterday to look at what we have to move, I made sure we didn't move on a Wednesday so we could do this. We're moving the next day. So I'm planning
she's
ahead.
thinking of us, guys. She's thinking of us.
Yeah, I'm planning ahead here.
So yeah, we'll still be doing the Wednesdays.
Oh
Just
yeah,
be the Zoom, or maybe only one. We'll figure it
we'll
out.
figure it out. Let's see how it is. Yeah, the
I think
thing is, moving to Lake County, I could be snowed in a whole lot out there. So we'll be doing something.
right. You and like I'm bored. Let's do another Zoom. Okay.
That's right. Yeah, I can't get out. Let's do a Zoom. Right.
Um, so yeah, keep an eye out for that. But we're still going to be doing Wednesdays. We'll still be doing the podcast. So if you haven't listened to today's episode, this one has to deal with Marianne running into an earthbound ghost in a portal more than once, twice.
Yeah, and that was a question that Lewis asked a number of weeks ago. Has that ever happened? And I was going to give him the answer, and I thought, no, let's put it on a podcast. So that's what we did.
So if anybody runs into Lewis, let him know. Like, hey,
Yeah.
on you.
Okay, guys, I'm going to go get the keys to my new house. So
that's why we were watching the time. So we don't want
Yep.
to be late. She gets to go get her keys. So thanks everybody. And we'll
Thank
catch
you.
you next Wednesday. Bye-bye, guys.
Bye-bye.